Hi, welcome to Finance with Lee. Today I'm going to be talking about the 4% rule. The 4% rule is really common and it's a way to determine how much money you're going to need for retirement. So basically what it is you need to determine how much money you need when you're retired every year. So for example, if you want $40,000 a year, what you're going to do is you're going to multiply that by 25 and that'll give you the amount you should need to retire. How it works is you'll be able to withdraw 4% of what you have in your retirement account every year, and you'll even be able to keep up with inflation. So the great thing about the 4% rule is that it's designed so that you never run out of money in retirement. So if you have a retirement account that has $1 million in it, and the amount you want to withdraw every year is $40,000, that means that you'll never run out of money, no matter what. And that's based on the entire history of the stock market. So if you have $1 million invested in stocks, like let's say you just have it all in an S&P 500 ETF, and every single year you pull out $40,000 and you never stop for the rest of your life. No matter how old you live, that retirement portfolio will continue to fund your lifestyle. So as an example, if you need $40,000 a year to retire, you need to multiply that by 25, which gives you $1 million. So that means the first year that you're retired, you would be able to withdraw $40,000 because that's 4% of $1 million. And then the way it works is since the stock market goes up by about 7% on average, you can increase how much you withdraw by about 3%. Every year. So the second year, you would be able to withdraw $41,200. The way I get that 3% number and the reason why your annual retirement budget would go up by 3% a year is because inflation is naturally going to decrease your buying power over time. And everybody has really noticed this. I'm sure everything used to be a lot cheaper when you were a kid probably, and that's because of inflation. So the way that you can calculate this is by multiplying your previous year's budget by 1.03. So that's how I got $41,200 for the second year of retirement when the first year of retirement was $40,000. Does this actually work? A lot of people talk about it, and I'm here to say, yeah, it does work. Mathematically, it absolutely does work. So the stock market tends to go up by a little over 7%. That's a figure I use. There are other people who say that it's a much higher number, but I like to be a little bit conservative. So even when you account for you increasing your withdrawal by 3% every year to keep up with inflation, the 4% rule is still very conservative. You still should grow your nest egg over time, even taking 4% out. So it's a very conservative figure, and it should be no problem to actually make that happen. So the 4% rule is a great strategy, but it isn't perfect, and I'll tell you why. So this strategy won't account for other types of income that aren't stocks. This is basically just for a stock portfolio. And if you own real estate, it doesn't really work as well because your real estate is cash flowing. You're making money from appreciation every month or every year. You're making money by loan pay down every month. So since real estate has so many different avenues to where you can make money and build your wealth, it really isn't a good way to calculate how you can retire from real estate. For example, if you have an investment property that's worth $200,000 and you can make $400 a month in cash flow, that's $4,800 a year. But what if you have $100,000 worth of equity on that property? You're only making 4.8% on the equity you have in that property. If you were to refinance that property to pull money out, you could still make the same amount of money, but then go back and put some of it in the stock market. So there are some other metrics like return on investment and return on equity that are a lot better at calculating how you should be using your money when it's coming from these other sources. The 4% rule really isn't for everybody. So living on a dividend income and treating it like a paycheck is another alternative that people use. So they just say, hey, I'm going to save up enough money and I'm going to buy all dividend stocks, and then I'm just going to live off of the income that they produce. So if you have a portfolio and it's making 2% in dividend yield or 3% in dividend yield, then you're just going to wait until your dividends are enough to fund your entire retirement. And then you can treat that like a paycheck. So you'll still save a little bit of your money, and you'll still have a budget and everything like before, but now your dividends are like your job instead of using the 4% rule. And also living on cash flow from rental properties. A lot of people say, well, once I make, let's say your goal is $40,000, they'll say, well, once I get $40,000 worth of just cash flow on rental properties, then I can retire. Both of those strategies are actually more conservative than the 4% rule in most cases, because usually you're not going to get 4% in just dividends. So you're actually going to end up being in a lot better position financially if you just live on dividends. The same goes with just cash flow from rental properties. If you just use cash flow, chances are you're going to have a really large amount of equity over time in your properties, because every month your tenants are helping pay down that mortgage and you're gaining money from appreciation. Plus, you're using leverage if you have loans on that property. So you're just going to be in a much, much better position financially if you don't use the 4% rule. But I'm not knocking the 4% rule at all, because it's great for people, especially if you're first starting out. It's a great baseline to say, okay, this is the minimum amount of money I need to retire. And technically it will work. You can put yourself in a much better financial position by using some other strategies, but it's absolutely fantastic if you're just starting out and you need a hard number that you can set as your goal to say, this is when I feel like I've made it, this is when I feel like I can retire. Then at that point you can determine, do I want to just have what I can live on with the 4% rule, or do I want to have a much larger nest egg and the ability to like maybe make some special purchases, or maybe increase my quality of life and the amount I make by more than just inflation? So that would be up to you. So yeah, I hope you guys learned something about the 4% rule, and I hope you continue to watch my videos, and please subscribe to my channel and like the video and comment. If you have any questions, please let me know. You all know that this is basically the very start of my YouTube channel, so I'm just trying to get better at this, and I'm trying to just provide all the most pertinent information. So if you have any feedback for me, please let me know. I'm going to try to give you better videos, more videos, and just increase the way I present it, increase the quality of the way I present the information. And so, yeah, have a nice day.